Now, there is something about the spirit and the soul that people don't understand. I've realized that people mistake or misunderstand what a soul is and what a spirit. They don't know the difference between the two. Now, listen, when something happens to you, for example, when someone hurts you, you feel pain, you feel hurt. It is your soul that gets hurt. So, your soul is your emotion, your personality, your identity or memories, the part of you that gets hurt when you're disturbed, when you feel pain. So, the soul is that part. And then the spirit is that part that tells you when you're about to do something, it tells you, no, don't do this, do the other. That is your spirit telling, guiding you. So, in layman's language, we can say a soul is the heart and the spirit is the brain. But that is just to make you understand. So the debate on which part goes to the soil and which part goes to heaven, as people say, heaven, hell, what? Let's break it down. Here we have three parts. We have the body, we have the soul, and the spirit. When you die, your body goes back to soil. It is the part that is buried. So we say the body goes back to the earth. However, when it is going back to the earth, it carries part of your emotions, part of the memories, which is part of the soul. So it means that part of the soul goes to the soil. It goes back to the earth also with the body, but not the whole of it. And that is why people are able, for example, when someone dies in another area, they go and pick the soil. They come and bury in another area, and it will symbolically mean that that person is buried here. For example, if you have a relative who has died, for example, in Kenya, and he has been buried there, it has taken time. If his people want to bring it back to Uganda, they can easily go and pick soil from wherever it was buried, and then they'll come and bury it in Uganda. So symbolically, it means that he has been buried here. So it means part of the soul which was attached to the soil has been brought back. The memories, the emotions, and so on. And it will mean that it is his body that has been brought here. So the other part of the soul continues the journey and awareness. And then the spirit returns to the source. What I mean by the source is the creator. So basically, the body returns to soil and becomes part of the earth, whereas part of the soul goes with the body, and another part detaches to travel to the spiritual realm, or what we call the ancestral world. And then the spirit returns to the higher power, or the divine source. So therefore, the soil holds the body and the spiritual imprint, which is part of the soul. But the true soul does not remain in the ground. The soul continues its journey beyond the earth. And this is why sometimes you see libations are poured to soil or on graves to speak to the memory, not to trap the soul. So that means that what is basically in the soil there is just the body and then the memory or the feelings, the emotions. And after death, it reunites with the divine spirit or the supreme force, what some people call God. For us, we call it the ancestral realm, where the ancestors live. So the spirit becomes part of the unseen protectors or the ancestors of the lineage. And this realm is beyond the physical or geographical boundaries, not the soil or the sky, as some people believe that the spirits go to the sky or they go to the soil. They don't go to the soil. The spirits themselves don't go to the soil, but they join the ancestral world, becoming your protectors. They're the people who watch you. Whatever is going to happen, they guide your spirit. They protect you from harm. That is the spirit. However, you need to know that all these parts are connected. They are interconnected, the body, the soul, and the spirit. So when a body lies down and you touch it, you can attach yourself to the spirit or the soul. They are interrelated. You can use the body to call the spirit, or go back with the memories, feelings, personalities of that person, which is the soul. And after that person is buried, you can call the spirit through the soil. Using the soil of the grave, you can use that soil to do anything, to make that spirit cause revenge, to do anything. So these things are interrelated. That is why we say it is dangerous to touch a dead body or to touch a corpse, the body of the dead, because you can easily attach yourself to the spirit of that person or the soul of that person, which soul carries the emotions, the memories, the personalities, and so on. Which soul consists of the emotions, the memories, the personalities, and so on of that person. So all the three are interconnected. They are interrelated. So if you have one, you can use that one to call the other or to reach out to the other. So regardless of whether they are still there or they have already been buried, you can easily access the spirit and the soul of the person. Even if the soul has already traveled to the spirit world, you can use this body or the soil where the person has been buried to call that spirit, and the spirit will come and do whatever you want.